This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good, whatever it is, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Reds POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Tim Daniel. I am, unfortunately, a lifelong Reds fan. I've been podcasting about this team for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and The Riverfront. And if you stayed up late with me tonight here on the East Coast, I want to thank you for spending some time with me as we discuss the Cincinnati Reds beating the Cincinnati Reds 3-0 tonight in Sacramento. If you're just checking my show out for the first time, welcome. We are so happy to have you. Please be sure to hit that notification button so you can not only get my show after each and every Cincinnati Reds game, which I guess we only have, not even 20 of these left, or you can also get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds as well. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get just $5, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets across the app. Download the app today. Well, on today's show, we're going to talk about the fact that the Reds beat the Reds again. We're going to talk about some Tito decisions here because some of the decisions she made down the line of this game, I don't really understand. We're going to dive into those. And you know what? If there's one good thing to talk about today, it's Brady Singer. Well, TJ Friedel, I guess, too. All that and a whole lot more. And I'm sure you guys have some really interesting takes to get to as well. Let's get started.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So I know the scoreboard says Athletics 3, Reds nothing. And I know that that's what's going to go down the record books. But tonight was, I think, fair to say, the most frustrating loss of 2025. And the 73 losses the Cincinnati Reds have so far this season, this is up there with them because it reminds you of the White Sox series. It reminds you of the 2 Marlins series. It reminds you of the National series. It reminds you of the Cardinals series that they've dropped. It reminds you of the fact that they just could never, ever take advantage of opportunity right in front of them. And tonight, opportunity was served to them on a platter. The A's were literally begging them to take this game, and they just kept finding ways to not. Let's just kind of dive through it. 14 strikeouts as a team tonight. 0 of 12 with runners in scoring position. You would think one of those pops through. 11 runners left on base. That's insanity. And, I mean, they were so I think it was 5 or 6 innings they had their leadoff runner get on. That's pretty awful. And it was also the fact that they literally just could not get. There are times when you're like, oh, okay, they just didn't get the big hit. And you're like, okay, you can move forward with that. This was not one of them. Oh, William brings up more. The Pirates, the Braves. Yeah. That Braves one in Atlanta, that 4-game set is really looking pretty rough right now. And there's just a lot of just kind of conversations here that I don't quite understand. But which is just really aggravating is the fact that this is a situation where, like we said, this wasn't just the fact that all those other series are frustrating because if the Reds just won those series and did their job, we don't even have to have this thing where we're watching right now. We're like watching the lead more than anything. So if you lose tonight to the Athletics, you go, you probably shouldn't have lost them, but you can move forward because you probably have a wild card lead because you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And they did not. And tonight, just to lose to an A's team who are dropping foul balls, just like giving you extra chances at bats, are also just kind of like, their pitching staff is walking you just as many times. The Reds had 5 walks tonight on top of the 6 hits, and they couldn't get anything done. It's just so freaking frustrating. I'm not allowed to curse on this show, so I'm doing my best not to. And that also for us, we're staying up late to watch them play like crap, to play like this here on the East Coast. Like, this is just so unacceptable because of where we are in the season, what's on the line. If you win this game, you're a half game behind the Mets, who are also just trying to get the National League wild card away. Neither of these teams want that. Neither of these teams want the wild card. I'm convinced. I feel like they just kind of like rolling with it and just like, well, let's see what happens. But Neither of them are exactly dying to get it. And of course, the Giants are the team that's like trying to win a lot, and God only knows what happens when the Giants are in the playoffs. The Giants right now 1-1 in the bottom of the 10th, and they have the winning run on third base with one out. So things aren't looking that ideal there for the Reds. Just an all-around irritating ball game, and one that they got to get that one back. They cannot lose the series to the Athletics, especially because they're about to go to St. Louis, who is also not good, but for some reason the Reds have had trouble my whole life beating the Cardinals. So let's see how the rest of the series goes, but not a promising start. And coming off that San Diego series where you got those two huge games, you torpedo once again. You get in your own way and you torpedo your momentum, and no one ruins their own momentum like the Cincinnati Reds do. And some of that has to do with managerial decision making, such as when the game's on the line and you're seeing your guys constantly struggle. Why are Noelvi Marte and Sal Stewart, and maybe more other decisions we can go to, not getting at bats? So we're going to dive into those and more right after this. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. Whether you're at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. And you can feel good about it knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's football season, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with can't-miss offers. Right now, if you are a brand new customer and you bet just $5 and your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Are you feeling something this weekend? Like, say you're feeling a little bit of a same-game parlay, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase anytime touchdowns? I like the sound of that. Well, you can bet that in FanDuel this week for $5. And if you're a new customer, maybe get your $300 in bonus bets. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team, like I am, will be the Bengals, or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Saturdays and Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. One of the fun things about scoreboard watching is coming here and seeing in the comment section, you guys keeping us all posted on what's going on in the other games. So I guess there's some craziness going on in the Giants and Dodgers game right now that I won't see until we get done with the show. But I also want to shout out all of our everydayers who are here through the good and the bad and the late as we discuss the Reds with a crappy loss tonight to the Athletics. The Athletics are so bad they don't have a city. Let's just kind of call that what it is. I'm just kidding, but not really. Let's get to the turning point of tonight's game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So I know a lot of people will say, Lawrence Butler hits the solo shot in the first inning for the A's, and that's the turning point. But I'm going to go with something that's the Reds' fault. Top of the second, the A's give you another at bat. Will Benson full on hits a triple where JJ Bleday can't figure out where it is in the air. Shout out Will Benson on that way. It just doesn't break stride and just keeps running. That was cool. And then Spencer Steer strikes out. Then Ke'Bryan Hayes strikes out. And then Matt McLean's up and he strikes out. And in that process, Darnell Hernandez, the A's third baseman, drops a foul ball to give the Reds another chance. You can't have your leadoff hitter get a triple, no outs, against a team that is not good at all, and have this happen. So just a really frustrating situation there as well. All right, so in a game like tonight when things are going bad and you need every at-bat you can possibly get and you need every out you can possibly get and you need to win every game you possibly can win and you need to hope for the best, like the San Francisco Giants don't have a walk-off. You got to go down with your best players. If you're going to lose, you can't have guys sitting on the back there where Matt McLain tonight is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and Sal Stewart's there. I'm not saying Sal Stewart's better than Matt McLain, but right now we know that Matt McLain's probably just not going to fully figure it out. And he's been really good of late. I've been on here quite a bit talking about how much I've really enjoyed Matt McLain, but his last 7 games, he's been awful. Sal Stewart in there. And then Will Benson is in there as well. And Will Benson, I get it. He just had the triple. I just gloated about that, and that was great. But at some point, why isn't Noah Marte taking that bat? And I get the lefty versus righty thing and all that stuff. I'm all for that. But, Marte has been pretty awesome for, he's struggled of late. I know. But he's had 2 games in a row off now, including a day off in the middle of the season. By the way, Noah Marte, 2 days off. Elly De La Cruz doesn't have one. The malpractice that they are just trying to run Elly De La Cruz into the ground when he's already run into the ground. It's just so frustrating. But, why are those guys left on base? I mean, why are those guys just kind of left there? Like, why are you losing and those guys don't even get a chance to help you win the game potentially? You've seen what you're getting from the rest of your offense. And I get there's some bad luck in there. Keep Ryan Hayes has that ball. He smokes off the pitcher. And it just kind of the balance got so lucky to go where it went for the A's. And obviously the strikeouts are piling up and they're frustrating, but I don't understand why it's like, I think at some point you can pull the trigger on these guys and just kind of go to the next person. If you feel like Noah Marte, this is Will Benson we're talking about here. Terry Francona has been very willing to not play him a lot, right? Why don't you pull him tonight? Noah Marte is right there. Noah Marte has been one of your best hitters throughout the season. And I think I'd rather go down the ship with Noah Marte than Will Benson. And I love Will Benson. But I don't know. Lefty's got to face righties. That's just how things go. While we watch old Mickey Mantle tapes. And, with Matt McLain, like I would have been more than willing to give anyone the at-bat there. At the end of the game than him. And even though I was all for Miguel Andujar getting that at bat, but what happens if he gets on base? I mean, he grounded into a double play and he struck out. So maybe Marte's the go-to there since the DH spot. I don't know. Is he sick or something? They're not, you know how the Reds are. They don't tell us until it's like way too late. Just feel like there's a lot of empty at bats they got in this game where they had probably better players currently playing better that they could have thrown into that situation there as well. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you guys can disagree with me. And if you do, that's totally fine. But I feel like the Reds kind of beat themselves a lot in this game, and I feel like a lot of it was the guys who kind of getting at bats there as well. But let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I mean, the only guy who really showed up there to kind of give the Reds a chance was Brady Singer. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. I'm going to say the thing. Did he give the Reds a chance to win tonight? He did. Did the Reds win tonight? Not even close. And I didn't think he was necessarily sharp. He does give up 2 solo, but he gave 2 solo shots. You can live with 2 solo shots. So, especially in a minor league ballpark. The Reds had, couldn't do anything in the minor league ballpark. And we also see this thing too, where it's like right before the game, they're like, oh man, the ball's flying out of there. They're hitting so many home runs in batting practice. That obviously didn't give them anything. Josh says it here, I'd give it to Friedel. Excellent leadoff mindset. Yeah, Friedel's awesome tonight. Got on base 4 times. One of those, I thought he broke his hand. So thank God he didn't. But yeah, I mean, Singer getting the chance. And actually, I'll go ahead and say it. I don't want it full time, obviously, not even close. I know it won't be the case next season. Like seeing Chase Burns in the bullpen. I know he gave up a solo shot. Again, I can live with solo shots if the offense just kind of shows up and does their job, but they don't like to do that sometimes. And I think that's where we're all really, really frustrated tonight. But with that in mind, we'll go ahead and close this one out as the Reds are losers to the Athletics, 3-0. The Athletics have 3 runs on 6 hits and an error. The Reds have 0 runs on 6 hits and an error. Your winning pitcher tonight for the A's is Tyler Ferguson. He is now 4-2. Your losing pitcher is Brady Singer. He is now 13-10. And Sean Newcomb picks up his second save of the year. And the Reds better redeem themselves tomorrow for our final 10 o'clock game of the year. Thank goodness. Hunter Green takes the hill for the Reds. It is, in fact, Green Day. He is 6-4 with a 2.59 ERA. He'll be going against Luis Severino, who is 6-11 with a 4.67. First pitch is at 10:05, so we'll probably be on about the same time we are tonight. Everyone, thanks so much for staying up late. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry it wasn't a better game. Hopefully tomorrow we're talking about a win. Have a good night. Go Red Legs.